Finally, we are at our roots. Today we will focus on KRPAN logging winches, and we will take a closer look to the mechanical winches. The winch is primarily intended for logging in hardly accessible places where we have no direct access with tractor or other vehicles, or for selective timber harvesting. At KRPAN, we have been manufacturing them for over 40 years. Every year, 8,000 tested and certified winches leave the factory. They are the result of professional experience and cooperation with our customers from all continents. That is why we are happy to grant you a 3-year warranty for our products. KRPAN single drum winches with a pulling force of 3.5 to 9.5 ton are coupled to the tractor with a 3-point hitch and are driven by the tractor PTO shaft with maximum 540 revolutions per minute. The winch is controlled mechanically using the levers. At KRPAN, these are models E and ER, or hydraulically using a control box. The hydraulic winches at KRPAN, these are models EH and DH, where radio remote control is also possible. The construction of the housing of the KRPAN winches is rugged and well proven. The drums have a large rope capacity. The cardan shafts or sprockets are made of the strongest materials. The drive sprockets of the drums are laterally and centrally reinforced, which prevents their deformation. This also ensures a 100% contact area for the clutch, so that the pulling force is reliable. All KRPAN clutches are glued and riveted. With stronger winches, they are glued and fixed with screws. All winches have an automatic band brake, which is essential for safe operation, and the pre-brake adjustment screw for adjusting the rope pull-out force. All models mentioned have many practical details. The upper pulley at a large distance from the drum for better winding on the rope. The upper pulley has an extended, robust cable guide for better guidance of the pulley. With the lower pulley, the center of gravity is lowered, making better use of the weight of the tractor and making pulling sideways easier and safer. Towing coupling is kept on the back of the frame after use. Slots for choker chains to fix logs. Wood pick, axe, and chainsaw holder. Hooks for additional chains and snatch blocks. 2 toolboxes. The practical wedge for cutting the wire rope in the forest. The PTO shaft discharge. The opening for removing dirt. The wire rope mounting port. The protective wire guard can be folded up for easier storage and easier transport of the winch. The support legs can also be folded. All winches have several options for coupling to different tractor categories. Before the winch is used for the first time, and also later on, it is very important to unwind the entire rope from the drum and to rewind it evenly on the drum while under tension. In this way, the rope is wound up nicely and evenly, no loops are formed. The life of the rope is extended. It is good to know that the pulling force of the winch depends on the length of the rope on the drum, with the tractor driving force constant. The maximum pulling force is achieved with the first layer on the drum. When the rope is wound on the drum in multiple layers, the pulling force is gradually reduced. The pulling speed, which is higher when the drum is full, changes in inverse proportion to the force. The mechanical winches from KRPAN with a pulling force of 3.5 ton, 4.5 ton E and ER, and 5.5 ton E and ER have a single plate clutch with a great friction surface and a great diameter. The 7.5 ton model comes with a 3-plate clutch with a large diameter and a reduction. It should be emphasized that the size of the friction surfaces on the couplings counts for the pulling force of the winch and not the number of the plates. In fact, the higher the number of the plates, the higher the cost of replacing the clutch. The levers of the mechanical winches E and ER are controlled by 5-meter-long cords. The brake with the red cord and the clutch with the green cord. When you pull the green cord, the brake is released and the rope starts winding onto the drum. That is, the clutch is activated. It is very important to move the lever to the end of the groove as quickly as possible so that the clutch touches on the entire contact surface and the full pulling force of the winch is reached. Otherwise, the clutch will slip and can overheat. As a result, the winch pulls too little. The clutch can even burn and must be replaced. When the green cord is released, the pulling stops, the band brake is activated automatically, which means the drum is immediately embraced and the load is held. If we want to pull the rope from the winch to the lock, we pull the red cord to the end, which releases the bend brake, and the rope can be pulled out mechanically. We don't have much work with the maintenance of the mechanical winches from KRPAN. The drive chains must be checked regularly, tightened and lubricated as required. It is important to ensure that no grease gets onto the clutch plates or the brake band. There is a difference in the drive between E and ER models. ER models have a reduction with 2 drive chains. Therefore, the winches with the reduction are a little slower, so the work is safer. The load can be followed more easily and observed better. At the same time, less power is required from the tractor. The bearings on the upper and lower pulleys must be lubricated regularly. KRPAN winches are a synonym of reliability, safety and power.